Oh, hello. I didn't see you there, even though I set the camera specifically up to be there and I checked all the sound levels and everything. Crazy, eh? Now listen, if you're thinking of moving to a Dumphone, first of all, I highly recommend it. Second of all, you might be thinking, I'm thinking about it, but maybe I don't need to. Maybe, why would you go for a Dumphone? It does nothing, and sometimes you pay more money for it than a cheap smartphone. Well, listen here, laddie or sonny or girly. Now, my problem with smartphones is that they're little fucking babies in your pocket that constantly ping you. Ping, 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 give me attention, give me attention, give me attention. They're worse than babies. And I know what you're going to say, well, just turn off all notifications then. It's like, okay, well, I've tried that, and that sort of worked. And then I got sucked into the apps and stuff, so I deleted the apps. And then I got sucked into the web browser, and I tried to turn off the web browser with screen time, but I just can't stop it. I can't help myself. I'm like a fucking compulsive addict. And that's the problem, right? And that's why I need to get away from them. So someone that emailed me very recently put it so eloquently, is that if you're on a diet, are you really going to walk around with a cake or a cookie in your pocket? No, I don't think so. And obviously for those of you that are a little bit mentally challenged, I guess the cake or the cookie represents the smartphone in the pocket and whatnot. So this episode is a little bit about dumb phones. I'm going to do a quick book review. We're going to do the Digital Calm Book Club. We're going to do community questions and feedback. We're going to do loads of cool things. But first of all, we've got a little clip of when I went to Bury St Edmunds Town and I had my dumb phone and I wanted to pay for parking, which is really hard to do if you don't have cash on you and you don't have a smartphone to do it. So, if you're going to get a dumb phone, I recommend getting one that allows you to do the tethering thing, right? Because then if you're carrying an iPad for work or a laptop, you can just whack that out, flop it out, open it up, pay for your parking, and job done. But first of all, this is a cold open, which means we're going to have a title sequence, right? Roll the title sequence, go!
You're scrolling the internet every day. There's notifications, they're flying your way. So next time you do it, just say no. Watch the Digital Calm Show. I can't sing. Yeah, Digital Calm Show. Ugh.
Hello. So I'm here in my little town, Bury St Edmunds. It's beautiful. There's a little Christmas tree there and stuff. But it's not as Christmassy as it could be because we're in the middle of a fucking pandemic, which is shit. Anyway, so one of the things that I want to talk about is doing stuff on the move, right? So we've got this little dumb phone that I use. Now, the problem I've got here is that I am parked up and I need to pay. And how do I do that? David, why don't you carry some cash with you? Well, I don't because I'm fucking lazy and I really prefer the convenience of being able to pay via an app. So fortunately, I do actually have with me an iPad. And this phone is really cool because it allows me to kind of tether to it. And I'm actually going to do some work in the town with my iPad. So it's not like I'm specifically carrying this around with me. And I'll get to the other things that I carry in other videos. But basically, I carry this little bag around with me everywhere. And it's got in it like a little paper diary and stuff, which is awesome. So what this phone lets me do is, I wonder if I can actually do it here, but I can go down to settings, I can go to connectivity, I can go to, I'm reading this in like a mirror image and it's very off-putting, tethering, and I can turn that on. Excellent. And now what that allows me to do on my iPad is obviously just connect to it. So I'm gonna do that. Just talk amongst yourselves. Booking success. So we're all done. I didn't have to carry a smartphone around for that, even though I am because I'm filming this on a smartphone, but you know, we won't go into the irony of that. So I'll turn my tethering off. So that brings me on to another thing when you're out and about. One of the things that people are like, oh, I can't get around without maps because my brain's never actually worked out how to figure shit out because all I use is my GPS. Well, buy one of these if you really need to. I've got them in here. I've not actually used them, but it's kind of handy if you get really, really super lost. And I see it as a fun little adventure if I get lost. It's not like, oh no, I'm lost. I need to call someone. I'm going to be a nightmare. It's quite a fun little adventure. I feel like Bilbo Baggins travelling around the Shire to get to Rivendell or something, where he's a little bit lost, he's not sure where he's going, but he's got a kind of rough idea of the direction. And then, all of a sudden we're there. We're at Rivendell/home. And I think that's the joy of driving around without a map and assistance. So push yourself. If you're thinking of going to a dumb phone, do it. I'm going to go into detail a little bit more about all these systems, but I'm just in the town now and I've paid for parking, and frankly I'm a bit tight and I want to go and make the most of my parking pennies. So I'm going to go and do some work and then I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, we've got community questions, I'm going to call it, or community questions and feedback. I don't know. Let's roll the tape and we'll do community questions and feedback. See you on the next one.
It's time for community questions and feedback on the Digital Calm Show. Make sure to email me, David@digitalcalm.net. Yeah.
Welcome to the Digital Calm Community Questions and Feedback. So, if any of you have emailed in for the past week, then what I'm going to do is read out some of the things and let people know what other people are thinking, because I want this to be a movement, a community, not something where I just rage at the camera all day. Right, so first off, we've got Callum Towers. Sounds a bit Australian, so let's do it. Hi David, noticed your video and was glad to hear someone talking about such an important topic. You encourage viewers to email in, so that's exactly what I'm doing. I spend all day working on a computer, some of my evenings doing freelance web development, and then late evening on my phone or iPad. Oh, and a TV screen will make an appearance soon. Heck, I can't even drive my car without a screen being replaced to the dials. Blah, 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 blah. Get my words right, David, you fucking idiot. Like you have done, I reflect on my past and think about the times I didn't own a screen of any sort. I think it's interesting to consider that we are likely the last generation to remember a time of no screens. Keen to hear where you take the channel, we'll be following closely, always happy to chat, and for now I'll leave this short message of support with you. Thanks Callum, I agree. I think a lot of these things seem to actually be people that spend all their time on computers throughout the day, just feeling overwhelmed with it, and then in the evening it's really easy to jump back into that screen, isn't it? I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like an information junkie. I like to keep up to date with stuff and I find it hard not to. Another guy we've got here, and for some of you probably thinking, oh, he's doing this on an iPad, how ironic. Well, this is a channel about rebalancing our relationship with technology and using stuff when it makes sense, not throwing it out and living in the woods and getting fox tapeworm and dying a slow, gruesome death over 12 months where you've not had antibiotics to cure it. Anyway, I will stay clear of that tangent. So Paul here, Paul Robinson, he owns several businesses. One of them's a brewery, so that's really cool. He's got some kids. I think he's in his 40s by the look of it. And we've had a really interesting conversation back and forth. So he's trying to move to a Dumphone. One of the things here that he's saying that he's struggling with is keeping contacts synchronized between the Dumphone and the smartphone. Now, I know that there are devices out there, iOS devices, especially say the Nokia Flip. I think it's the 8110. I don't know, I'm not very good with numbers. Ironically, I'm a software developer. But that model, I know that you can synchronize contacts between Google and the phone. So if you do the same on the iPhone, I guess you could probably synchronize the two. That'd be pretty cool. He's actually bought a real life camera, clicky click, instead of carrying around the iPhone, I guess, which is quite novel actually. And you'll always find you do get a bit better picture quality. There's only so much these lenses can do on these phones. Everything starts to look a bit samey, right? But real life camera, that's awesome. He runs several calendars, and some of the things that he said he's going to have to live without is Ring doorbell, security cameras, FaceTime, firewall, track and trace, but he can do all that on the iPad, he says. So I think that's fair enough, yeah. And I think this is the point, right? I'm going to put this down now so that I can talk to you like a real human. A lot of people try and replace the convenience of a smartphone with other systems when they get rid of it or move to something simpler. But I think the point is actually that it is a little bit more inconvenient and it forces you to slow down a bit. So instead of me having my phone in my pocket and a client emails me and me doing that on the fly or on the go and transferring money here and then keeping on top of everything, I just can't with a dumb phone, and that's actually awesome. That's great because it allows me to sit back and just go, well, I'll do that as and when I get to a place where I can do that. For now, let me just sit and enjoy this little moment and whatnot for wherever I am. It forces you to slow down, and I think we all need a little bit of that in life, right? To just chill out, slow down a little bit. So, with that in mind, I've finished my rambling. Maybe slow it down and take a deep, relaxing breath. So, if you've got anything that you want to tell me about, tell everyone else about, digital and tech related, I don't really want to get into your personal sexual desires or anything like that. That's not really what this channel's about, but if it's really funny, I might read it out. Do email me, david@digitalcalm.net, and we can discuss it as a little community. And I'm going to be trying to build ways that we can discuss this as a community going forward. But for now, we've got the Digital Calm Book Club, where I'm going to go over a book or two and review it, and hopefully it might inspire you to read it or listen to it on an audiobook. Who knows? Maybe you'll just read my review and go, that's not for me, mate. Sorry. In which case, great, you do you. See you on the next bit.
It's the Digital Calm Book Club.
Good day, sir. Welcome to the Digital Calm Book Club. Today's book that I'll be looking at is a book called Irresistible by Adam Alter, which is amazing. It's a really easy read, right? Some of these books are super clinical, super boring, but this one's fascinating. It talks about how addiction in general works and then how that has been applied and actually even engineered as a choice in the apps that you use on a day-to-day basis. So things like Facebook and Twitter, we all know, and or should know, that they hire neuroscientists and people that really understand behavioural science to come in and say, okay, let's find out at what point would this particular cohort of users get bored within our app. Maybe that's 3 minutes in, or maybe it's when they start performing this particular action, and that means they're close to leaving the app. So can we at that point throw them a notification? Can we throw them something more interesting to keep them hooked on? Because all they want to do is keep increasing that engagement, right? So this book kind of talks to that and how that works, and addiction in general. And I think it is a really, really good read. I think the guy is like from New Zealand or Australia or something. And his audiobook he does himself. He's got a lovely voice. It's a really good listen. So I recommend reading that. So also, yes, it says here that this is a great book for parents, and I would agree, because it actually teaches you how the things to look out for in apps or games that your kids might use or buy, and the kind of little red flags that it's like, that's been put there a little bit suspiciously to keep me hooked on the thing. And I think if you're new to this topic, this is a great first read, because it makes you realise that this isn't just something where people can say, oh, just don't use your phone as much, blah, 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 blah. For some people, yeah, you've got maybe some crazy level of willpower. But for people like me, it's good to know that it's not all my fault. It's been specifically engineered to be this addictive, and it really helps to understand how that's been done and why that's been done, so that as you feel that pull, you can just kind of be a little bit more aggressive back with it and be like, no, fuck you, I'm not doing it. That's how I feel anyway. It's a great book, you should read it. It's on Amazon, it's on audiobooks all over. Irresistible by Adam Walter. I'll put it in the link below, and I'll see you on the next show. Thank you, goodbye.